And speaking of fishing, I have an idea. Let's stop lecturing me and let's get back to fishing. How would that be?
Am I lecturing you?
Time for the Angler Within podcast with Roy Bilby.
Fishing's been tough this whole summer.
It has. It got tough early, and we didn't. I mean, it's like we're in the dreaded dog days of summer, and we had hot weather in June, but then it leveled out, and the water temperatures here have even dropped because we had so many cool nights and we had some cold rain. It's a little humid, but we're not. We're not 95 degrees. We haven't had that scorching weather that sends us into the dog days, and the water temperatures are back down to 71, 72 a lot of places, and it's acting like the dog days. I think it's got the fish messed up because the water started to warm up and then it dropped right back to lower levels, and I think it's got them all messed up myself, and they're just not responding well. It's weird.
Are they not hungry? Is that part of it?
It could play in a little bit because as the water temperatures warm up, their metabolism hits its peak. It starts operating at its peak when they have to eat a lot, like every day. And we just never got there, and the water temperatures back down. So that, for one thing, I believe they don't have to eat as much, but it should be, they should be biting a lot better than they are. They should be.
But it's widespread.
It is. We should be recording this.
We are.
Okay.
We are.
It is widespread.
No one's doing well.
That's what I've been hearing.
Reports that I get from any of my friends, no one is catching anything. Which, they're catching some, but nothing of size.
It's got me nervous because I just broke 500 a week ago for the year, but I'm still like 524. Every time I go out, I'll get 6 or 7 bass, and this is the middle of the summer. I should be having days when I absolutely flat out crush them. This is when I break 100 once in a great while, and I'm going out and struggling to get double digits. It's crazy, and the water temperature isn't too hot. That's what's usually causing this to happen. And then they go deep, and you just got to cover a lot of deep water till you find that one spot where they're grouped up. They're not in the deep water. I'm catching fish in shallow and mid depths like you do all summer long, and they're just not there in the numbers. And to be honest, it's got me a little bewildered because I should be doing better than I am, even with these lower water temps. So it's just something that we don't usually see, water temps this low, this far into the summer. Everything should be about peaked right now, and we're a good 10, in some cases 15 degrees below that. So, but I am seeing the same thing. I'm going to lakes where I expect I should get 40 to 50 today, or I should get, 60 to 70 on this lake today with these conditions. And the only thing that isn't where it should be is that water temp, and it's off by 8 to 10 degrees. And I'm struggling to break double digits. I'm
struggling to make any digits.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I'll tell you one good trip I did do, and I still have a lot of perch in the freezer. I have a good amount of bluegill. I was down on crappie. I was down to maybe 8 or 10 packages of crappie, and I wanted to get up to 15 or 20 where my other species are. So I'm going to be having next January, I'm going to be having foot surgery. I've been having issues with my right foot for years. They wanted to take care of it in April. And I said, well, how long am I going to be laid up? They said 8 weeks. I went, no, that ain't happening in April. You're going to take me out of my entire turkey season? That ain't happen. Well, when's turkey season over? June. All right, we'll do it June. No, you won't. That's when my tournament season starts. Well, when does that end? October. Well, we could do it in October. No, you can't because that's followed by November, which is my deer season. You're asking me for a 2-month gap.
They're asking you to
Anyway,
do that so you don't gimp around through the woods and on your boat and everywhere else where your injury is affecting other parts of your life now. So
it has been for years,
the
but I'm
voice of reason,
yeah. Well,
Roy,
I
will you
lack
just get the damn surgery?
yeah,
Just get
I
it.
lack the when it's something that affects my ability to pursue my outdoor passions. I just do my best to ignore it, power through it, and work around it.
Yeah, but you
So,
need
and
surgery now.
I know, and you've seen me gimping around.
Yeah, I thought you had the gout.
Yeah, well, that's a lot of what it is, but they also think it's arthritis and who who knows what else. But I'm going to have 2 procedures done on my foot. I'll be laid up for 8 weeks. So I said, "Look, the best time for me is January, February. I do a sportsman show, an annual sportsman's day at Sacandaga Bible Conference, the first Saturday in January. I've been doing it for 10, 12 years now. It's one of my favorite shows of the entire year. So one that kicks off the winter show season. I said, I will do that. And then you tell me when. So they've got it set for mid January. The only thing that's going to affect is my ability to clear snow and ice fishing. So I'll be laid up January into February. I'll be given a walking boot, so I'll be mobile. It just won't be comfortable. So if I have to clear snow, I can wrap that in a bread bag and I can go out and clear snow. I will find a way to make it work. But I'm hoping, fingers crossed, good Lord willing, please work with me on this one, Lord. I can only have to deal with 1 or 2 snowstorms, and I clear with a four-wheeler. I plow everything, and then I shovel the sidewalk and deck. That I can do.
You're gonna have a
But
walking boot,
they've already given it to me. They've
so
already fitted it, and I've tried it. It's uncomfortable,
Roy
but
Bot. You'll look
I
like a
can
Roy Bot.
a Roy bot. That's how I'll be walking.
Time for the
And
angler within with Roy Booty.
yeah,
You have that boot on there.
yeah, I will. But January, February is about the only time I'm comfortable giving up a 2-month block for that thing to heal because March is when I start my perch fishing. And
That's
March
a
through
ways.
December, I've got stuff going on. I can't, I'm not, I can, but I am not willing to shut down my life for 2 months and give up everything that I basically live for
Now listen,
to do.
did you see me step away from all my activities for over a year from my
But
knee?
yes, I did. But when it happened to you, you had no choice but to get it fixed then and there because you blew it out.
Get it
It,
fixed. There was no fixing. I had to sit there and
it
then
was,
go to
yeah,
PT.
yeah.
And I'm still limping. I'm not very good with stairs. That's where I'm still
No,
trying to get it
still.
figured out. I mean, I'm doing them, but I don't do them well. So depends on my level of confidence. Just like
Yeah.
with fishing.
Yeah, yeah, you are. But I know where it's coming from. And I agree with you.
All I
You're
said was
right.
get the surgery, and I've been there
Yeah.
too. And I didn't lecture you. I'm just looking. My thing is this, and I think that the angler within with Roy Booty is pretty funny.
It,
Um,
it is. It
no,
is.
I'm just saying like it will lead to you having more pleasure in those activities
Oh, absolutely.
versus not being comfortable now doing
Yeah.
them. You know what I mean? That's all. I'm not trying to lecture you. I would never lecture you.
Oh, but that's more the voice of experience. Let's go with that.
Yeah,
Because you've
that's
been there.
right. Voice of experience. I'm not lecturing anyone. I'm experienced. And Roy, what do you do when you have 1,000-year rainfall and every body of water is blown out? Chocolate milk, orange copper, 10,000
Yeah.
CFS.
It's crazy because the amount of rain the area got, and we were on the fringe of that because what it was doing was it was swirling backwards, counterclockwise
Right.
here in the Northeast.
We
It was
lucked out.
picking up all that moisture from the coast and bringing it inland. By the time it got to where I am, it was about exhausted and going back and getting for more.
No, but
They
Rensselaer County and all those areas, they got 11 inches of rain.
Yeah, 11 inches of rain, and we got In 3
5.
days, no, we got 1 inch in the rain gauge.
That's where you got out
1.
in Schoharie.
Yeah.
Or out in Richmondville.
Yep.
I think we had 4 out here.
Wow.
So, and then out where I was in the cats or in the Adirondacks and lower Adirondacks, we got like none. I mean, we got maybe just like you, maybe an inch.
Yep. Too
Like that
far north.
was it. So,
But but the thing is, I looked at the Cobleskill Creek, which is runs right our creek runs right into the Cobleskill Creek. It's what it turns into. And it was clear. It was a little off color for 1 day and it cleared right up. I went, "Holy cow, the Schoharie's going to be awesome." And it is orange mud way out of its banks. And the reason is, and shame on me for forgetting this, the Schoharie Creek, one of my most beloved fisheries, tremendous smallmouth walleye. It's one of those rare water bodies, river, creek, what have you, that runs northward. It runs north into the Mohawk River, and the Mohawk runs into the Hudson and onward it goes. But the Schoharie Creek runs north along its whole course. Prattsville, which is over an hour 20 minutes south of us, they got 11 inches. They had evacuations, they had road closures, they had
they continuously get
roads
hammered down there.
underwater.
They got hit twice in a row after Irene.
Yeah, they did. They're very susceptible there because they're in one of the lowest valleys there is. But all that 11 inches got carried northward with this Schoharie Creek. So that's that's off the schedule for a few weeks. When it turns orange like that from that Delaware County orange clay, it takes forever to clear. It'll take a month to clear. It really will, but they can be caught in that. So here's a tip for if you're in the areas impacted by all this rain and everything is all the moving water is high and blown out. You want to go to your lakes and your ponds. Yeah, they're going to be high, but they shouldn't be as off color as the moving water is. Now, the lake you're on, Goodyear Lake, that's going to get way off color.
Oh, it's already. It's
Yeah.
where the streams are dropping in, like right outside of my place.
Yep, because that's an impounded river.
Yeah, it doesn't
So-
look. It's just straight silt coming in there
Yeah.
right now.
It looks like spring all over, doesn't it?
Yep.
But the thing to remember when fisheries are impacted with that heavy duty off color water, it looks horrible to us, but you've got to understand the fish are used to that. They adapt to that in their environment. They don't starve to death because they can't see their food. They adapt, they adjust, they overcome. They are very, very adaptable to those environmental changes. And when the water rises, that they typically will move shallower for 2 reasons. Number 1, you've got new cover that's now inundated, and a lot of bait fish will go in there for the security of the cover, and the game fish go in there because that's where their food moves to. Also, the game fish move there, the larger species, they all gravitate to that shallower water so that they can relate to something. They can't see as far as they can when the water's clear. That's just a given, but they can still see and better than we think because they adapt. Their vision is different with ours. Again, we try to give them human characteristics and we go, if I was in there, I couldn't see 2 inches in front of my face. So you have to remember that fish are different. They see optically, visually, but they also locate food through their lateral line, through vibration, and through other senses. They're way more in tune to their environment than we give them credit for. So just because the water is muddy, way off color, that does not impede them at all from feeding. They still have to eat, and they still do, and they're very efficient at it. That's why when the water gets muddy like this, we don't see a lot of dead fish float to the surface because they don't starve. They just adapt and they move to where the food moves, which is shallower because they can relate to the cover. They go into deep water, it make that take them all day to find a rock or something to set up next to. But if you flood the shallow cover, all the trees, all the big rocks, all the stumps and deadfalls laying on the bank. Now they're in the water. There's all this new structure for them to get up against and relate to have a sense of where they are. And so if you're on one of those bodies of water where the water level has come up, whether it's clear or off color, start fishing all the new flooded shallow cover you can find, and you will be amazed at what you catch because that's where these fish go when the waters rise. And by the same token, when these waters start to recede, when things settle down, they will pull back and go back to where they should be this time of year.
Mhm.
So that's what you want to do. You want to go into this newly flooded shallow cover. I remember, and this happens in the spring. That's what they typically do in the spring. But if you have summer storms like our area has experienced recently, that's what they're going to be doing. I've been on Great Sacandaga Reservoir when the water was so high it was up into people's yards. We went to this campground and we were catching smallmouth on crankbaits by fishing around the flooded picnic tables, and they were relating to the picnic tables. We were running a crankbait and banging it into the legs on the picnic tables and the benches, and smallmouth were slamming them, not making it up. And so that yeah, they actually move shallower. So that's what we want to do right now if the water's high. Now, if you've only got rivers and streams to fish, here's what I have learned. And I this goes back to uh my little program of setting myself up for failure to see if I can succeed. That's how we get better. You don't always take the easy road. And I have forced myself to go out when the rivers are mud with 2 inches of visibility and way too much current to find where I can find fish and figure out how to catch them. And the reason I do that is because I'm a tournament guy and I don't get to pick the conditions. They set the events, high water, low water, doesn't matter, rain. We don't get rain days. This is the day the tournament is. If you want to compete, be there. And whatever the conditions are, that's what we fish. And sometimes that water's really off color. So I needed to know how to catch fish in those conditions. Now, when I say they move into the shallows, that is basically a lake scenario. That can happen on the rivers too, depends on the kind of flooded cover. But what I've learned is when that water and current is really accelerated, like like the readings that you were citing at the CFM, that's it's when it's really, really increased, the fish get caught in that flow and they have to avoid that. It's easier to do that if they go deep in a river because on the bottom is where the boulders are. And if you've got a stretch where you got a lot of big boulders, that's where you want to fish because they're going to be on the bottom behind those boulders because they break this swift current. And when something gets swept past that boulder that's food, they're going to dart out, grab it, and get right behind that rock again where they have a current break. That's how they conserve their energy. And what I've learned forcing myself to fish that scenario is I go out with bulky baits quite it's going to be hands down a jig, and it's going to be a heavier jig than I normally use because it has to get to the bottom where those boulders are. And I'll use black, and I'll use either a tube or a big grub. Those are my two primary choices when the water is off color. And I'm going to use a big one, a bulky one that they can see. And I'm going to use it in black, usually black with red flake because that seems to stand out in that muddy off color water. You can use a bright color like a chartreuse, they'll see that as well, but the black is a more natural cover. And when the water's off color and muddy, I get a lot more strikes on black than anything else because it stands out. But I have also fished rivers that are high and muddy and out of their banks by fishing the flooded shoreline as well. And I have found them in 6 inches of water when it's muddy and off color. So check both of those. But if what I'm saying is, if you're not finding them super shallow in the rivers, then go to an area where you know you got boulders, big rocks, or wing dams, that are on the bottom that are going to break the current for those fish. Because if they're not shallow, they are all the way down on the bottom behind something that breaks the current. Bridge abutments are huge, wing dams are huge, but don't don't skip the rocky boulder areas because they provide all kinds of current breaks. And you just got to get a jig that you can feel the bottom with, throw up current and bring it down with the current, because that's going to let it drop into those pockets behind those boulders. Never, ever, when it's muddy, do you want to throw downstream and reel it back to you? That goes against everything natural that they're seeing, and they won't fall for it. In general, when you're fishing moving water, you should always cast or quarter upstream and bring your presentation down with the current. I mean, you know that from fly fishing, but that applies to all fishing. All fishing. You're going to catch a lot more fish bringing your bait with the current. And think about this. Look at the way a fish is shaped. They're going to face into the current because the water will flow over their body with a lot less resistance than if they're if their tail into the current, their gills, their scales, their fins, everything is going to catch current backwards. But if they face into it, it's just going to run over the body. And that's the way nature intended for the water to flow over the bodies. So just a little common sense. You're going to get a lot more strikes always with moving water if you bring your presentation with the current. And when the water's off color, there's no other option. No other option. So where have you been fishing and doing so poorly, if I might ask?
So the lake at the camp where I was, not very productive this year. I got out a handful of times. I missed some big explosions on the topwater frog.
Yeah.
But I really didn't have any action on anything else. Only on the fly rod, I missed some strikes on the, I was throwing poppers with that and then throwing a topwater frog with the bait caster. It just felt good to get out, but I don't have many casts in this summer. I'm going to be honest. But when I have gone out, I have not done well. And, it'll turn around. Things will get better. I'm headed for 4 days on the Esopus
Oh boy.
starting Thursday, which will be great. I'm bringing spinning gear and fly gear, obviously. So that'll be.
Yep. Well, as you said, it was just good to get out, but it's always twice as good to get out and get some fish on your hands.
Yeah,
Always twice as good.
always.
I did have one really good productive trip, and I've got to start working on my bass numbers because like I said, I'm at 524 and my goal is to hit 40,000 at the end by the end of October, and I needed 1322, I think, to do that. And I'm at I need about 800 more to accomplish that, but I better get I better
Better
get
get working.
after it
Better
if
get
that's
working.
gonna happen by the end of October. Yeah.
So
So,
will we be able to get out in these next 2 weeks?
yes,
Will the water
absolutely.
be worth getting on? Yeah,
Oh, absolutely. We'll run to Candidago or something like that. You have not yet been in my nitro,
I haven't.
and
No.
we need to do that.
Yeah.
Bring a spare hat in case you don't hang on to yours tight enough.
Yeah. I exactly. I look forward to this. This ought to be
People
good.
lose them. I've had people hanging on to them and it blow out of their hand. So, yeah, just as a precaution.
I'm excited for
Bring
that.
bring 2 hats. Yeah, we will absolutely make that happen. The best trip I've had recently in the past few weeks was I went out to target crappie, and I have experimented with the bio baits from Bass Pro Shops. It's a bait. I don't think I've talked about this. It's bio baits is something that Bass Pro Shops came out with to combat the issue of the soft plastics being left in our water bodies, whether a lot of it is from slob fishermen who just discard their plastics into the water. No one should ever do that. There's no excuse for that, but people do it. The other way it happens if you fish a senko a lot. Fish will jump and they'll shake. Your senko goes flying. By the time you get over there where it was, it's on the bottom because they're impregnated with salt like a lot of salt plastics are, which makes them sink. So, one way or the other, there's a lot of soft plastics that fall to the bottom of our lakes, rivers, and streams every season, and fish come along, they see them, they pick them up. Usually they reject them, but sometimes they ingest them. And that's a problem because they can't digest them, they can't pass them, their intestines get blocked, and they basically starve to death because they can eat, but they can't process anything. Bass Pro Shops created a bait called the BioBait series, which biodegrades when left in water. If a fish throws one of these baits and it falls to the bottom, it's going to break down and biodegrade, which I think is just ingenious. Now, because of that, because they're made to biodegrade, I've noticed as soon as you start using them, they get a real slimy feel to them, which is cool because they feel natural. But I thought that would make them not last very long. And I've been astonished. I've used them for days. I used the same plastic worm for 2 trips and caught a ton of bass both times before the bite slowed down like it has now. This recent trip I took that was really successful was my first trip using their panfish baits. They also have bio baits made for panfish. They have one called the crappie craze. It's a 2.5 inch saw plastic minnow made out of bio bait, highly detailed, but just a very no appendages, just a straight profile. It looks like they're the Bass Pro Shops, the regular plastisol baby shad, which is a 2 inch bait. This is 2.5, but it's got a highly detailed finish on it. They're very realistic looking. I used it to target crappie. Now, I gave myself 4 hours to fish this local body of water. It took me 1 hour and 50 minutes to finally catch a crappie. I'd caught other fish, but on this body of water, I have never found them the same place twice. And you just fish until you find one. When you find one, you drop anchor and you can generally load the boat. That's what generally happens. I have had occasions where I caught one and there were no others with it. That's only happened to me twice on this body of water. But this day, I mean, it took me 1 hour and 50 minutes to catch the first one. At that point, I anchored and I kept casting and I caught another one on the very next cast, but then they stopped hitting what I was catching them on. So I tried all my baits, all my rods, and I couldn't catch one until I got to the rod the bait. I went to make a cast and my bait went flying. So I said, you know what? I'm going to try the bio bait. I brought those. Let's see if they're still here. I tied that on. I put it on a 1/16 ounce jig so it would have a really slow fall because crappie feed up. They don't feed off the bottom. If you look at their mouth, it's angled upward and their eyes are on the top of their head. They always come up to take a bait. So you want a slow fall if you're targeting crappie. I caught 32 crappie in the next 2 hours and I used one bio bait the entire time and it's still on that jig. I can still use it.
Why is it
One
not getting chewed up?
Oh, it got chewed up. It's got teeth marks all over it. It's got a couple tears in it, but unlike other plastics, I'm able to reposition it on the hook and get a fresh purchase in that plastic and just keep fishing it. I gave you a bag of the BioBaits worms, right? I gave you a bulk pack of those, didn't I?
I think I do. Yeah.
Yeah, and, I mean, it's like a 1 pound bag. They're 7-inch worms. They look like they're 8 inches. I've used that worm till the head got tore up, and I just pinched 1.5 inches off it. It still looks like a 7-inch worm, and I'm still catching fish on it. You can tear the head off those a couple times, and you're still gonna get a good hook in that plastic and keep fetching fish. If you have not tried the bio baits, check them out. They last forever unless you leave them in the water. I I I doubted that they would be very durable, but they're incredibly durable. I don't know how they did it, but they nailed it. I've become a huge fan really fast. And the only 2 baits I've tried are their plastic worm in the bio baits and that crappie craze minnow. And man, I'm blown away by how durable they are, how long they last. What I'm going to do is get one put it in a plastic cup with water and see how long it takes to biodegrade. I'm really curious how they don't say how long it takes. They just say it will biodegrade. So I'm going to experiment and figure out how long that takes. More on this as it develops, but I'm going to do that because I need to know. But I've been talking about these baits a lot to people because I'm just away by what they did with them. And here's another news flash. I know you're going to ride me on this a little bit, but that last kayak I bought that I spent the whole winter converting, cleaning, putting new components on it, and adding all those rod holders, and figuring if I did that and made it mine, I would like it more. I only used it for the Crumhorn Classic tournament, was not comfortable, won the tournament, didn't care. I sold that a couple weeks ago. I used it once and sold it.
Did you make
However,
money?
no, I broke even. I broke even
All right.
because all the extras I put into it, I broke even. I wasn't looking to make money. I was just looking to get out of it. And then I went to Bass Pro Shops. Actually, before I sold it, I went to Bass Pro Shops and I brought myself a brand new Ascend sit on top kayak. I have already ordered extra rod holders. I ordered a whole bunch of components for it. I'm going to put it together the way I want it, and I'm going to force myself to like it. How's
I don't
that?
understand why you didn't. And I know that you were excited, and I was stoked to hear that you bought a kayak, but I'm still baffled that you didn't get a pedal drive.
I know.
I'm not lecturing you.
Nope. No, you're not. But I'm not going to invest that kind of money in something I don't plan on using very much. The reason being, I have currently 6 boats and I enjoy them all and I'm way more comfortable in those. It's just something I know I won't use a lot because I have 6 other options that I know are way more comfortable because I fish standing up as much as possible. And this one, I can stand on it.
Yeah.
So
Have you tried it yet in the water, standing?
no, I wanna put all these it's not ready for me to fish until I get it set up the way I want it. So, I haven't even gone out to just check it out, which I should do.
And once again, not lecturing you. When you get your boat,
Yeah.
go out with it with nothing on it. Obviously, just go out with just the boat, okay?
Yep.
And practice your water exit and reentry. Flip the boat over, get set up. There's a couple of things you can do for your own safety with this ahead of time. So if anything goes wrong and you do end up turtling that thing, it's tough to do, but it's not impossible. So like given the right situation, something could happen where you flip over. So you can learn with one of the things you can do, and this is just fast, get a strap, like a regular strap that we use to like ratchet down and a regular ratchet strap.
Okay.
What is Honor up to? What is it? I see him over there.
He's tiptoeing around behind me trying to be silent.
Good. That's his job. You better be silent. You're recording. You're a famous podcaster. All right. So put the strap on the handle that's like midway. You flip it over. You can use that with your feet if you throw it over the bottom of the boat towards you. You can use that with your feet pressure to flip the boat back over again and then climb back into it. So you can practice that stuff, kind of like what you did back in swimming merit badge back in the day. The clothes inflation.
And I did something else for you.
Oh, what'd you do?
Something that you will appreciate.
Oh, what'd you do?
Something that you appreciate me for. I ordered a pair. What do you call them? Clogs?
Crocs?
Crocs. Yeah.
Nice. Good.
I ordered a pair of Crocs.
Yes.
So
Are they bright white?
In the water. No, they're not. They match the kayak.
What color are they?
It's camouflage.
Well, good. I'm so happy to see you embracing the kayak way. That's so nice. And next we'll move on to fly fishing. We'll get you over we'll get you set up. I think you should have in your boat or in your kit when you go out, we should send you out with a fly rod every time so you have the option. One rod, one box, ready to go in your stuff, stowed away in the boat. Like you could do it. You could do that without issue.
I'm not seeing it.
We'll get there with you.
It's not in my DNA, but don't give up. But if you want to get me fly fishing, you better stand anywheres but near me. I'll tell you that. I was done with fly fishing when I repeatedly took off my own hat and hugged the trees behind me on my back cast. I'm like, enough of this. So I mastered a bait caster, and that's my calling.
That's fine.
My calling.
It's okay. So The episode that I thought we were going to let out before we did this one is not findable. Can't find it. So let's real fast talk about the fact that you did win the Crumhorn Classic, and the picture for this episode is you holding all the baits because you won.
Okay.
Uh,
Yeah, my third time on Crumhorn with that group. Only my second time in with an actual kayak. I just happened to find the right fish that day. Everything I caught was like 3 pounds. It was a good day. I was the only one, somehow the only guy that caught a limit. However, only 4 of my fish counted because my biggest fish, which was 3.5 pounds, for this tournament, you have to take JD creates a group chat for everybody involved.
a digital
You
live
catch,
well.
yes, and then you catch a fish. You are required to take a picture of the fish that you caught, and then take a picture with that fish on a scale showing the weight, and post it. And when it came, that was my second fish of the day. You were within earshot. I landed that fish and I called you over because I took the picture of the fish, then went to put it on my scale and my scale wouldn't come on. The battery died between the first fish and the second fish. So I flagged you and said, "Get over here. I need to borrow your scale. Mine quit."
Yeah.
So you came over quickly in your pedal kayak.
I had the chance to severely handicap you for the rest of that day,
Yes, you did.
and I did not.
You said, "Sorry, I'm going to need my scale."
I did
So,
not. No, but I went and got you batteries. Thank God I knew where
yes,
there
you
were
did.
some.
You
Took time out of my
sacrificed
own
your
fishing
day.
time.
Yes, you did. You were
Um,
my hero that day.
I was. I helped you to success, and you had quite the arm load as seen by the photo. And yeah, Roy took a photo of the fish, took a photo of himself by mistake.
Yeah, right.
And
When you gave me your scale, I set the phone down in my lap and must have, when I picked it up, I must have hit the button that flips it to a selfie mode because it was really sunny at that point. I took 2 pictures of the fish on the scale, handed you back the scale, released the fish, went to look at the pictures so I could post them. And I have the picture when I caught the fish, and then the next 2 photos I took of the fish of the scale on the scale ended up being a picture of my Bass Pro Shops hat.
Yep.
Because it flipped the screen image to a selfie mode, and I couldn't tell because there was too much glare on the screen. And I said to you, "Oh, it did take the picture, but you saw the weight," and you immediately said, "Well, it doesn't count
because
you
I'm
got to
fair.
post the picture."
Because I'm
I'm like,
fair.
but you saw the weight. I saw the weight. You didn't see it. I did.
Didn't
And
matter.
I told you what it was.
Didn't matter.
And you said it, but it doesn't count.
Nope.
And I was upset. However, I agreed with you. It doesn't count because anybody could have that happen. They'd be in the same boat, and I would want to see their picture showing the weight, just as rightfully so they would want to see the picture of my fish on a scale showing the weight.
Yep.
I agreed with you. It doesn't count, but it was only my second fish. There was lots of time. I ended up catching 3 more, two of which were 3 pounders, one of which wasn't. But as it turned out, I was able to win with the 4 fish that did count and didn't even need the 5th one. So if I had lost the win because I needed that 3.5 pounder, I still would have agreed with you, but I would have been more upset with myself for not checking the photo first. So that one's entirely on me, but you are my hero and always will be for that event. I credit you with helping me get the win because you went and got me a battery, and I have a spare one in that box now. So that should never happen again, ever, 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 never, never. But it's been a good season because I've done 3 club events and that one with all you guys. So I've fished 4 tournaments, and I've won 2. Mark and I won the season opener on Saratoga Lake. We both crushed him that day. We put 48 fish in the boat, 40 largemouth. Well, and smallmouth. We put 40 bass in the boat that day, 48 total fish. He had our biggest one. He had one that was 5.11. Also got lunker for the tournament, and we took the win. So that was the first win he and I have had together. We've had 2/3, 2 seconds. We've placed well in others, but that was our first win together. So that was a big deal for the two of us and for me. I had 13 wins for the longest time, and I went through a long period with seconds, thirds, just could not get the win. And you start asking yourself, is it ever going to happen again? And I took some advice from Rick Clunn, legendary tournament angler, competed for 50 years on the Bassmaster circuit, competed in more than 500 Bassmaster events alone, just a living legend, just turned 78. He's a tremendous fisherman. And he went a long time. He won all through the 70s, 80s, 90s, 4 World Championship Bassmaster Classic victories. And then he hit a period for like 15 years where he had a couple close calls, but he was dropping down in the 60s, finishing in the 80s, in the 90s. And he was wondering if he would ever win again. And then at age 72, he won a Bassmaster Elite Series event, $100,000. 2 years later, he won again. And he said on stage, never accept that all of your greatest moments are in your past. And I took that quote and I wrote it on a very large notepad, and I taped that to the inside of the center compartment on my nitro. So every time I open that compartment, his words are reminding me to never accept that all my greatest moments are in the past. And I tell you what, I've had 2 of those greatest moments this year, and that inspiration it's made a difference. So, Rick Clunn, one of my all-time fishing heroes, thanks for the inspiration. You inspired me, and it worked for me like it worked for you. So, he plays on a much bigger stage, but I've got 15 victories now and can still get the W even at 67.
Yes,
So,
you can.
I'm happy.
Yes, you can. And you can also, so a throwback to why we were talking about your Crocs. That was because when we got done with the tournament that day, Roy was indeed Chief White Shoes in his kayak and
I
requested
always wear brand new white sneakers when I fish. It just makes
requested a pull onto the beach
yeah,
because
please
you didn't
help
want to
me
get
out
your
of this thing.
because you didn't want to get your feet dirty.
Help me
you
get
know,
out of this
And I
thing.
helped you with that too. I was your guy.
did.
I was your Sherpa that day.
No, you were my hero that day.
That worked out. But hey, listen, that was actually a great. Thank you for that last anecdote. That's a nice way to wrap up the episode, I think. And let's just also know that our greatest episodes of the podcast are not in our rear view either, because we're back on schedule now. And thanks again to everybody for being patient this summer. Listen,
So patient.
so much stuff going on though. Like Roy can't even be mad at me because there was just so much going on. So
No, your life has been a hurricane. So good to sit down and do this with you again.
Yes.
It's been a while.
Likewise. And we're like I said, we're gonna get into a better schedule here now. I know you've heard it all before from us, but life happens. Life gonna life sometimes. Slide into Roy's DMs at all lowercase Roy Bilby on the Instagram, and he interacts.
Answer any questions and comments you make.
Yeah.
Because I make it a point to do that every single time. I appreciate everybody that listens. Appreciate your patience, and as always, when we put out a podcast, our goal is to help you tap into your angler within.
Giddy up.